thing this thing is
Rock.
going. Oh yeah. You are live. Did you guys see that?
I did
It
see
is
that.
Yeah.
it is on. It is on for Athletes Camp. My name's Tyler
Woo.
Mulvaney. We are live on Facebook for Oil Belt Camp, and I got these crazy guys on to talk about Junior High Athletes Camp this summer at Oil Belt. Athletes Camp is one of our best attended camps, just overall. Year after year, it's one of the ones that kids come out to. And so, what we're doing tonight is just going to say a little bit about what Athletes Camp is, if you've never heard of it or never been, or if you're just looking forward to coming this summer. So, to tell you the dates real quick, because I forgot this on other camp spotlights, Athletes Camp is July 9th through 14th, and it's for 6th through 8th grade kids. So that's kids going into 6th through 8th grade this fall. That's how you base that. So if 6th through 8th graders this fall can come to our Junior High Athletes Camp on July 9th through 14th. So you can go to oilbelt.com to register. We'll say all this at the end as well, but I like to say it up front before I forget. And then everybody goes, what even is this thing? So we got all that stuff out of the way. Hey, there's Leah. It must be working. We got people live watching.
Sweet.
Yeah. So let me introduce you guys. So on my screen, it's top right, Mr. Kevin Callclaser. Introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about who you are and what you know about Athletes Camp.
All right. My name is Kevin Callclaser. I am the lead minister at Scott Avenue Christian Church in Newton, Illinois. I grew up in Clay County. Actually, I grew up about 6 or 7 miles west of Oil Belt Camp in a little town called Xenia, Illinois. And so graduated from Flora, so very familiar with Oil Belt. And as far as Athletes Week at Camp, Athletes Week at Camp started in 1984. That was the year I graduated high school. So I attended the very first week of Athletes Week, and it was boys only. It was high school guys only week at camp. And so it has developed over the many years. And I've been a part of Athletes Week of Camp probably for, I'm going to say 25, 26 years, probably. I know I was a part of Athletes ever since I started ministry in Effingham. And I was in Effingham almost 20 years, and I've been here in Newton for 8. So 28 years I've been a part of Athletes, way back when Mark Richardson and Les Bolt were deans, if that tells you anything.
Oh, my gosh. So, there's some history that I did not know. So that's pretty awesome. I did not know that about the first year and how it started. Yeah. So that's cool.
And the legends.
And and I look forward to Athletes Week every year.
Oh yeah, you have a lot of good memories that we'll get into. There's some good stuff that Athletes with Kevin Callclaser. But below that, in the orange shirt with a beard, who's this guy?
My name is Tre Kevin. I am a student minister at First Christian Church Florida. We're in town, right at camp. So
yeah, we should have just done this together, Trey.
We should have. I could have just rode my Harley over and made it happen. It's only about a mile away. But I'm a minister there in First Christian Church Florida. I get to be a part of it. Been a part of it for a couple of years now. Kevin's done camp longer than I've been alive at Oil Belt. And so
I had Trey as a camper.
And I was his favorite ever. We'll hear stories about that later. His favorite.
I didn't know when we were gonna go into that part, so I don't know. We could say Trey wants to save it for later. It sounds like
I'm ready for it whenever.
You're ready for now? Tell us about how much you guys love camp together and doing life together.
Well, if you don't know, I am his son-in-law. I don't know if that's known or not, especially around Flora. Most people don't know that. Did you catch my sarcasm? A lot of people know that. But, yeah, Kevin made me get up one morning about 2 a.m. and run laps in the sand pit and maybe around the chapel. But it's okay. Look at me now. Doing great.
Right. That's probably why they banned that kind of discipline these days.
Yes. But it was fun.
I'm old school.
Fun, and we enjoyed it. But, no, we got more stories like that. But this is my third year as the dean. Trying to just be better at it and be organized better. But I'll get into more of that stuff for you here in a bit.
Yeah. One of you guys are breaking up a little bit in my ear. I'm not sure who's got the bad signal. So it could be me, though. That always happens. And then below me, the other guy with the beard, the new one to the group.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about yourself and about what you know about Oil Belt.
Yeah, so I am Colin Smith. I'm the new youth minister at Scott Avenue Christian Church. Kevin is my boss. He's a great one. I'm not just saying that because I'm live, but he's a great boss. Last year was actually my first year ever at Oil Belt. I've heard of the camp. My sister's been. When I was in grade school, I was not my cup of tea, really. But I would say from just last year, I mean, I have learned a lot, and it's great. I love the kids there. I love just coming and worshiping with the kids. It's just great. It really encouraged me on how much they worship, and it's just crazy to see and just hanging out with them. I'm a big baseball fan, so I got to play baseball all week. And that was really awesome. But yeah, I mean, I would say if you are on the verge of not going or ongoing, but I would say I would encourage you to go. It was a great week for me, and I would say it was a great week for all the students there. So yeah,
it's an awesome camp. Last year was very good. I mean, I've been a part of a couple now, 6 or 7 athletes camps the last couple years, and then a few before that. But last year was this is a great year. And so I'm looking forward to this year athletes camp. So Trey, since you're the one who has all the organization and all the planning for this, tell us what we're expecting at athletes camp this year.
Oh man,
straightening it up.
Okay. All right.
He's getting it fixed.
There
He's
you
ready
go.
to go.
You can, yeah.
We got you now, man.
I don't want to say I'm the most organized, but I do like to take credit and be an organized youth minister. I do. So what kind of info, I guess, are you wanting to know first? Just about the sports we offer?
Yeah. So junior high athletes is for 6th through 8th grade students. What sports are you guys offering this year at junior high athletes? What do our kids get to do?
So we offer a couple different things, and let me throw this out to start with as well. Even if you're not an athlete, you are still welcome to come to this camp. Because I'm going to start off with this, because I've had a lot of conversations about this. We only do specific sports for about 2, maybe 2 hours a day. Okay, so it's just sport specific for like 2 hours. It's not all day long. You do get water breaks. It's not like we just put them out there and make them run for 9 hours. But we do offer boys and girls basketball. We offer soccer, co-ed, whoever wants to play. Football. We've had disc golf in the past. Flag football, sorry. Let me reiterate on that. Flag football. Yeah. We don't bring pads and helmets and all that. But we have that. Soccer. We do running every year. We've had interest in biking in the past couple of years. If we have enough, that's something we can do. We've had tennis. Cheerleading has been a hit in the past.
Which is still up for debate if it's a sport, but most will say that it is. So we'll give it to them at athletes camp. We accept all.
We don't fight all those battles, but we will fight some. But also there's volleyball. Volleyball is always a huge turnout.
Baseball.
Tennis. Yeah, that's it. Baseball and softball.
Swimming was one last year.
Yes, that's right. Swimming too. We've done running running.
Those were all the ones that I had wrote down. That's what I was checking the list off as you were saying it. So I think you hit them all.
Sweet. But like I said, just depending on the year, most of the time we do them in the afternoon after lunch, after like a cleanup. We try to break it up there, just depending on the groups and how those look. But we've even done some sports like in the morning, like if kids want to get up and run, maybe they want to do running in the morning. or something. We've done that in the past, or biking or something like that. If we have enough interest, we try to be flexible for all those things.
Yeah. Yeah. Athletes camp is awesome because, like you just listed, you tried to hit all the sports. And then, like you said, do you have to be good to come to athletes camp? I get that question all the time. Do I have to be good?
Yeah.
Absolutely
Not
not.
necessarily.
No.
Well,
No. We just welcome them all, because more importantly, we're there for Jesus, and so we'll teach them Jesus first, and then the sports. And that's like the big thing. People think that it's just athletes week, so we just pound sports. And I like to think, in my own opinion of camp, I assume that we do the most in Bible memory work and all that. In my opinion, I think last year, when we looked through the schedule, we had about up to 4 hours of, like, 4 to 5 hours nonstop all day, between classes, missions, team building, even that's biblical, what we were doing,
right.
All that stuff. And we did a lot of memory work. So that's just something that I think is big.
You hit a little bit on some of the stuff you do at camp, but Kevin was talking earlier before we started this. What does a day at athletes camp kind of look like? If he just take us through, I mean, you don't have to get super detailed, but what's kind of that schedule look like during the day? Because it starts off with Kevin. So that's
it does.
why
The last 2 or 3 years, it's been fun time with Kevin, and it's kind of funny. My wife was being recognized at a football game in Effingham, and so we went over there, and I was going to concessions, and there's about 4 or 5 junior high Effingham girls, and they saw me, and they're like, "Hey, fun time with Kevin," and so I guess that's kind of that's my name. They don't know my real name. It's just, well, they do. It's Fun Time is my first name, and Kevin's my last name. But so yeah, we start out with Fun Time with Kevin, and so that could be a variety of things. It's kind of a way to wake up and get ready for the day. And so I don't know if there's anyone watching or not, but if you've ever done Sally Up, Sally Down, we've done some of those things, which the students like, but it's really challenging after a while. So anyway, you can YouTube Sally Up, Sally Down. You can do those as a plank. You can do those as push-ups, whatever. So we kind of do that. And then usually I give some kind of a little devotion, just a little something from God's word. Then we go to breakfast. And then after breakfast, I think we maybe do huddle, or they maybe do some individual time with God. In their Bibles, memory verse, or scripture, or just devotional time. And I think the staff are in a meeting. I think that's when that plays out.
I sent it to you because I'm organized. Check your phone.
Okay. I'm just trying to think of years past. But then the last year we did something a little bit different that I think worked out really well. We broke up. We had a 3-hour session of where you spent 1 hour in a class, an hour in missions, and then another hour doing one of the team challenge course challenges. And that's a lot of fun, like Trey was mentioning. And so what happens there is, whenever certain teams are in class, those teams' leaders are teaching at that same time. And so when the teams are in missions, their leaders get to be with them. And when they're doing the team challenge course, their team leaders get to be with them as well. And so we try to, we really encourage, and I know that the entire Oil Belt camp weeks, they really encourage the staff to be with the students. And that's something we really, really stress, is building those relationships and having that bond with the kids, because it's just a great opportunity to make an impact and to make a difference, so that, later on in life, you might run into them and they will remember, that relationship maybe from camp. And so that's kind of how we split things up in the morning class wise. And then, and obviously,
I'll stop you for a second. Trey, who's your missionary this year? Cause you mentioned missions times. Do you have a missionary locked in yet this year?
Yeah, we're going to have several different local FCA people come in this year. I know Nate Whistler is going to be one of our mains. We're just trying to mix it up a little bit. They've been our mission past couple of years, But this year, I know they have ideas of doing things totally different, which is A-OK. So that's in the works as well. So Fellowship Christian Athletes is going to be our mission again this year.
Nice. So what's the afternoon look like? Because this is where it gets fun.
Yeah, afternoon. Afternoon obviously is our sport time. So we usually go from about 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock, 3:30. That's where you'll have the opportunity to choose a sport. A lot of times what we'll do is, the student will choose a sport. Sometimes they're like, there's a lot of people in volleyball, so I think I'd like to switch to swimming. So usually Monday is an opportunity. If that sport didn't work out or it's really crowded and you want to go to another sport, we'll let kids switch over to another sport. But then usually Tuesday, you're locked into that particular sport. So we just don't have a lot of, so that way we have a good idea of how many is going to be in our different sports. So we do sports for about 2 hours. And so there's a lot of just learning the fundamentals, especially if it's softball or baseball, volleyball, basketball, those things. I'm sure there's some scrimmaging that goes on, but it's also an opportunity for them just to learn the fundamentals. You'd be surprised in junior high how many kids don't know the fundamentals. And so it's an opportunity to teach fundamentals of that particular sport. And then we have canteen, which is an opportunity to go get the junk food that kids like, ice cream, soda, candy bars, whatever. And then swimming. There's camp has a nice pool, and so probably one of the kids' favorite times is going swimming. Then obviously.
Athletes camp is good because those kids can actually do some sweet flips and things off the diving board. Yeah. And so it's like a fun swim time because it's like, whoa, there's some kids who can do some cool stuff.
Yeah, I'm envious because I can't even do a flip.
Can't do none of that. Yeah.
And then in years past, what athletes has kind of been known for, there will be one. Well, actually, it's probably a little bit later on, so I'll just keep going. Then we have dinner, but probably one of my favorite times at Athletes Week is the worship time. I love sports, but I really love the worship time. I think we've had some very powerful worship times. For me, it's just awesome to see jocks, athletes, praising and worshiping God, and just seeing them respond to Jesus and responding to the gospel. And so that's probably one of my favorite times. And so we worship in the evening. Then we have social hour. And one of the things that we've done for many years, Danny Ferris started it, was the mud run. And we kind of did a little bit different last year, which I thought was really cool. I'm supposing we're going to do that again this year. And I don't know if it'll be like last year or what it will be, but that's usually a big hit as well. The mud run. So, so bring some clothes that you will want to just throw away when you're done, because your mom and dad aren't going to want to wash those when they get home.
That brings up two questions I was going to ask as you were talking. I'll take these to Tre. Tre, what gear are they supposed to bring for sports? And then with that, he mentioned bringing gear for the mud run. What do they need to bring? So that's kind of two questions in one. I'll throw at you.
Yeah, for sports, I think they should just bring sports appropriate. Like for baseball, they definitely need a glove and a hat. Now, we'll have bats and all the other stuff available if needed. People can share, but definitely come prepared with a hat and a glove. We do have an awesome facility at Oilbelt with the new, over the past year and a half, right? The baseball field being brought in, and that's been huge. So it is dirt infield. So bring cleats if you have it. We're not trying to tear it up because baseball and softball will be using it. So just if it's an outside sport, bring the appropriate stuff. Like soccer, bring cleats. Football, you probably want cleats because you're running, doing all the moves and stuff like that. Volleyball, try to bring your knee pads. I know that's always something. And indoor shoes, especially if you're playing basketball or volleyball or an indoor sport, bring that. We need inside shoes. We can't have you having rocks in your shoes scuffing up the floor.
I put my Crocs in 4-wheel drive, and I can hoop with anybody. So, come on.
I've seen it. I've seen it. Speaking of that, we have great nurses, by the way, for
For those who
all
wear Crocs.
yes, for all
What's
the Crocs.
what's the mud run attire? What do you need for the mud run?
You know, honestly, just some old clothes. Like most of the time, it's great for just an old T-shirt you don't care about, maybe that has some nasty stains, and some old shorts. And that's reality is that. But speaking of the mud run, a lot of times the guys will just wear that and then they get hosed off. So it's not like we just leave them there. A lot of times, even some of the females will wear their bathing suit underneath it and then just get rinsed off. So definitely just an old pair of shoes if you want to. You don't have to. Shoes, shorts, and a T-shirt, and go from there.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I would recommend the old shoes, but yeah, it's not a necessity. But
yeah,
you just sometimes don't know what's hidden in the mud.
So. You don't know what's in that mud.
Right.
Yeah.
Clay County mud.
Love it. Love
Clay.
it. I love it.
I might say this too real quick. If I know we didn't really offer cycling last year, but if some kids are wanting to do cycling, they probably need to somehow let us know so that we can make sure that we have our bikes or that we got people that be willing to lead that.
Sure.
I think that would. And so if you do cycling, you'll need to bring a bike.
Right.
So
I'm gonna bring your bike if you're cycling. I'm gonna flip to Colin for a second because Colin brings that perspective that it was his first time coming last year. And so a lot of things that we think about, we're like me, Kevin, Trey, we've done this for a long time. But Colin, what's other stuff that like when you came, you're like, hey, I noticed a lot of kids didn't know this or I didn't know this. What's like cool stuff that they can look forward to for athletes camp that you saw last year?
Yeah. And I mean, I saw a lot last year and
I'll be right back.
I'm ready to see, I'm ready to see what God has in store for this year. It's going to be great. One thing that I saw was, man, the community of just the baseball players and the softball players, like they really clashed really well. We shared the field back and forth. And then on our final day, we just played wiffle ball. I mean, it was a wiffle ball game versus softball versus baseball. And that was just a blast. They really had a blast for that.
And the girls won, if I believe.
I really think they did. I think they won by 2. And the boys, they got really upset after that. But
yeah,
it was a fun. I told them, I was like, dude, it's fun. Let's just have fun. I mean, nothing's taken serious here. I mean, we're just gonna have fun. It's just practice, more practice. But more importantly, it was just all God. I mean, you're there to worship God. You're there to learn more about Him, and God giving you skills to play sports. So you might as well use those skills to glorify Him. But to the newcomers, maybe, or to the old comers, I mean, just expect God to move. I mean, every single week, God's going to move in so many ways that you probably don't even know right now. Just expect Him to move and let Him lead you into the direction that He wants you to. That's kind of what I came into camp, because I've never been. I'm just like, all right, God, I'm just going to let you do what you need to do. I'm not going to be in charge or try to let me take the show. But I don't know if that answers your question or anything like that, but I just really encourage you, just let God pull back and let God lead and see what God has in store for you. And that's what I did. And man, He has a lot in store each week at camp. And I'm a little biased, but I did like Athletes Week, but it's great.
It's a fun camp. I was looking up a while ago. You guys are normally our biggest camp. And so, pre-COVID, it was breaking 200 students every year, 220, 230, 240. Last year, we had 151, which was one of our biggest camps. That was the biggest camp for last year because we were coming back from COVID. And so 151 was the biggest one. And so I'm looking forward to see what comes back this year, see if we can get back over that 200 mark. Because when you have 200 junior hires in one spot, Kevin was talking about the worship experiences earlier. And I was like, it's awesome to see 200 junior high students worshiping because you usually toss 40, 50, 60 faculty in there to be with that many students. and it's an awesome event. So anything else you guys want to throw in on athletes camp just for people to know about it if they have questions? We kind of hit the things that I had wrote out, but is there anything else that you were like, hey, I want people to know this about athletes, to know about what to expect when they come?
I think we always have. Again, it's my opinion, but I think we have some really. And I'm not saying this, I know other camps have great staff. I really believe we have a great staff as well that come that love Jesus. They love kids. They love pouring into the kids, and that's just one of the things I've always appreciated about this week. And again, I know it's not any different from the other weeks as well, because I know those deans and those staff members love the campers too. I like the fact that we may have a lot of staff that are athletes or whatever, but I like the fact that love the fact that we love Jesus more than we love athletics, and we've just come to see and realize that sports is just a tool that God can use to do ministry. It's a platform that we have to share Christ, and that's what we want our students to realize, is that your athletic ability is God-given, but it also is a platform that God's given you to help influence your peers and those who they may compete with or even against. And so we just want our students to understand and realize that. And I think our faculty do a good job of relaying that message as well. Definitely. I mean, I get to meet awesome faculty every year, but yeah, I mean, every culture of faculty is different, and to see the athlete camp faculty pouring in with, like you said, that tool of sports, it's just a different niche, and it speaks into so many kids. So Trey, what else you got? What's great about athletes camp to know before we roll out?
I think one of the really cool things, I got a couple. One of the really cool things is we have some incredible junior faculty. We really do. I really enjoyed this aspect of junior faculty. A lot of times it's juniors or seniors, people who have been to athletes camp as a junior hire, and we'll get messages from them all the time. Hey, can I come back? And can I be faculty? And I always say, I want you faculty, not a student. Not a camper running around. But it's like the legacy that it has, it intrigues the young generation. Yeah, we do a crazy thing, the mud run. Yeah, we might do an ultimate race. Yeah, we might do this. But I think what the legacy that we're trying to leave, and I think Kevin has paved the way, and us younger generation are trying to do as well and maintain it, is like, it is about Jesus. Our sports, we're focused. We have phenomenal coaches, guys that come in, give up their time, and just pour into the kids. Yeah, we're not trying to beat them down. I think every one of our coach that comes in is one of their gifts, spiritual gifts, is encouragement. There's a reason why we ask them to be there. It's maybe not their sport IQ, even though they're all phenomenal and way high. That's not what I'm trying to say, but they are just gifted and encouraging. And I think that's a lot of our staff. Our staff, I think our staff, they see what's important, and that's who we surround ourselves with. And we're trying to bring as many people along with us as possible. Just, hey, sports are great. Sports are good. But we also know that in sports, the worst of us can come out at times. How do we channel that, and how do we, fully give it to God? Other than that, I'm going to let Colin finish on that. But I just really think the idea of Athletes Week has been set, and we're just trying to improve and make little corrections every year and just make it better. Because it's not about me as the dean. It's not about us adults. It's ultimately about the students coming to know Jesus, and that's what we're trying to do. And we just get sports. We just get the title of Athletes Week to get it done.
Yep, that's awesome. All right, Colin, close us out, man. What do we need to know about Athletes Camp?
I don't know if I can close the Kevin and Trey out with what I say, because they pretty much said it all. But like I said earlier, I just hope, like, anybody that comes just expects that God is going to move in your heart and in your life. I've seen just I led a group around, and just getting to know them, man, it was a great experience. Just getting to know them and see how God's working in their lives already through this week. And man, it was great. And when you're in that group, that's your group for the whole week. And I just encourage you to pour into those kids, even if you're a junior high, or get to know them. See what school they go to, or you may be playing against them. If you're playing against them, you already know them. But I mean, it's just, I just encourage the junior hires to just get to know your group that you are with. I know some may want to be with friends or someone else, but we put you there for a reason, and to get you to know others around you. But yeah, I don't know if that really helped or closed us out really well.
There you go. So Junior High Athletes Camp, just a reminder to anybody out there as we close, Junior High Athletes Camp at Oilbelt Christian Service Camp. We are in Flora, Illinois. Athletes Camp is July 9th through 14th. It's for 6th through 8th grade students. We listed sports: baseball, softball, basketball, volleyball, football, running, cycling, swimming, tennis. My goodness, there's more. Flag football. So there's a lot of sports we offer for students to come July 9th through 14th at Oilbelt, 6th through 8th graders. The thing you need to know is registration is this Monday, March 6th. And the last 2 years, over 700 people register in the first 24 hours. Athletes Camp has been very close to being too full. I think we have turned away like a gender before. Like we had too many boys or too many girls, so there are kids on wait lists before. We've never had to turn away both at the same time. But it is a camp that fills up. And so you want to make sure you sign up for any camp, but definitely Athletes Camp is a great opportunity. So, guys, thank you for your time.
One more thing. I think if we have more numbers this year, Trey and Colin are willing to let some of the campers shave their beards off. I don't know. I don't know if that's a rumor or what, but
I've already done that once for VBS, and I don't know if I would do that again. I don't know.
Yes. If we have 300 campers, 300 campers.
Yeah.
Hey,
I say 350, and then I'll do it.
Yeah. We'll make bed space. We'll put up some tents or something to make that happen.
Right.
So, hey, thank you guys for your time. Appreciate it. Again, everybody go to oilbelt.com to learn more about camp, and we'll see you guys at camp this summer.
See you there.